is it attractive? Listen, the money he'll get, the stage that he'll be on, the way they play. If I'm assuming that if O'Reilly speaks to the manager, speaks to the club, you can only assume that he'll be impressed in terms of the trajectory that they're on and where they're heading. So, listen, nowhere near the size of Celtic. Obviously, that goes without saying. You're not going to get, their biggest derby is what, Crystal Palace. It's not the Old Firm. I know they were in Europe, obviously, a couple of seasons ago. So there's the opportunity to get back there, certainly, but it's unlikely Brighton will be going into, challenging for Champions League spaces, so O'Reilly loses that as well. But listen, when he weighs it, if that's his option, or one of his options, when he weighs everything up, I think it'll be a pretty decent option for him.
Obviously, the Hotline Live, it's all about your comments at home, and if you're watching, get involved if you're brave enough in the comment section below. Plenty of reaction to this, Scott, about Matt O'Reilly. Joe Gillen Sr. going from Celtic to Brighton is a backward step. You're better than that, Matt. John Toll, he won't get Champions League games with Brighton. And Daniel Hughes, given that Atalanta and Atletico Madrid have been interested in him, Brighton would be a huge disappointment. But see, to be honest, everything you said is obviously bang on, but I'm kind of more of that thinking. I just feel it's a bit sad that Brighton are taking Celtic's best players.
You're an old romantic, obviously. Because, listen, I get it, but you need to be realistic. Modern football, the way it is at the moment, look at the players that have left Celtic. Odsonne Edouard to Crystal Palace, that's a step down. Stuart Armstrong, Virgil van Dijk, Fraser Forster, Wanyama, all to Southampton. Massive step. I've been to these places, I've been to Southampton for games. Absolutely nothing like what you get at Celtic. But Matt O'Reilly's been here, what, is it 3 years he's been here now?
About 2.5,
He's done pretty much all he can do. He's obviously won every trophy. He's excelled in the derby against Rangers, scored goals, played really well in the Champions League, even if results haven't really gone to plan for Celtic as a whole. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking about his pass for Kyogo against Atletico Madrid at Parkhead. An unbelievable moment for him. The noise that night was incredible. So of course he's leaving that behind, but he's going to think his career. I mean, 3 years ago he was at MK Dons, maybe wondering where he was actually going in his career. For him to be potentially back in the Premier League, and listen, once you're at Brighton, if you can do it there, who knows? I'm not saying Matt Riley's good enough or he's going to be on that level, but you get to Brighton and do well, who knows if a Man U, a Liverpool, whatever, come in for you, and then that's you, you're in a different stratosphere then.
In fairness, there's been a couple of people writing in kind of showing the other side of the argument. Amanda Burns, gutted if he goes, but we paid £1 million for him. I'm sure Brighton would want to buy for 28 plus add-ons. Amazing bit of business. If anyone says any different, they're lying. And this one from Alan Gemmell. A lot of Celtic fans are sneering at a club like Brighton. They've got money. They can buy most players out there. Nice stadium, excellent facilities. And played in Europe last season. And he doesn't even mention the Premier League, which I get it. I get it. But I don't know. Just something a wee bit sad, I guess, that's where we are in modern football.
That's where the Old Firm are. But that first point there is crucial about the profit Celtic have made on him. That is where Rangers and Celtic are. That is the model that they crave to achieve. We've talked so much about Rangers in the last 3 or 4 weeks about the state of their recruitment, the state of the makeup of their squad, how they've ended up in this kind of mess of the squad. A few years ago, Rangers were offered 14 million for Alfredo Morelos, a guy they bought for 1 million, and they knocked it back. They had their reasons, but it backfired on them spectacularly, and they ended up getting nothing for him a couple of years later. The Old Firm just can't afford to make mistakes like that. And Matt O'Reilly is he's the archetype, he's the poster boy for this for this model. You go to League One in England, you go to MK Dons, you sign a guy for 1.5 million quid, and you sell him for 25 million. I mean, that is an incredible bit of business.